For you, for you, for you.
Look at all those people.
Ash Bennington, Real Vision. Carolin Wend. Oh, we're friends. MXJXN, NFT artist. Sparrow Reed from Dada. Jake Brookman, in the house. Ash Bennington, Real Vision again.
Hey.
Louise. Welcome everybody to ETHDenver. Are you having a good time?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
Having a wonderful time so far.
Have you been able to walk around the virtual castle, meet people? Yeah?
Yeah, taking a little walk around. Not enough of a walk though. The times were a bit all over the place for me. I'll get in soon though, for sure.
Excellent. Are we getting NFTs by any chance?
Everybody gets NFTs.
Marvelous.
Well, this sounds promising. Rare.
NFT
For NFT givers. The givers of the NFTs.
Say again?
Scratch it. Scratch it.
Oh yeah, no, we're not doing all that right now. No scratching.
Hey, are we backstage right now? Or are we?
No, we're live. Y'all are all on camera.
Yeah.
Marvelous.
And I think I'm gonna bow out. Let y'all discuss NFTs for everybody.
Enjoy your time, guys.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
All right. Welcome everyone to the panel. Why don't we all go around the horn and just introduce ourselves and say hello. I don't know if we're all on the same screen, if we're all seeing everybody in the same order, but MXJXN is next on to my right. So why don't you go first and tell us how to pronounce the handle.
Oh, it's Max Jackson. I'm just trying to save space.
Max Jackson, what's going on, man?
Yeah, that's me. Hey, how you doing? So I've been doing art for 3 years pretty seriously as like a calligrapher, doing like abstract circular mandala type work. And I was just pumping them out every day, just my daily practice to keep myself sane. And I've been following crypto art for years, since 2014. And I always wanted to get into NFTs. And then I saw in about middle of the summer that Maker's Place was a thing. And I just it was on my radar. So I started learning 3D. And for the past 3 months, I've just been crushing 3D art and bridging my calligraphy and just taking crypto art like full on every day.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad we have an artist. Sparrow.
Hi. Hi, everybody. I'm Sparrow. I'm an artist. I'm also a software engineer. So this space was like purpose made for me to express both of the important things in my life. I've been working with NFTs for 2 years now, I guess. Big fan of Mintbase. I'm on Super Rare. I'm on Known Origin. I've got my own contracts on Rareable as well. Hopefully, very soon to be launching a collection on Near using the Mintbase contract. Yay.
Very cool. A double threat, a programmer and an artist. Wonderful. Netguy, you're up next.
Yeah, sorry, I'm filling in for my co-founder, Carl. She was supposed to be here. She's got a dental operation, so she would just be mumbling the whole time. But yes, I'm here. I'm the co-founder of Mintbase. We've been on mainnet for over 2 years. We've done, we're really focused on purposeful NFTs, and we've done ticketing for conferences, and now we got hit with the gas fees. So in August, we basically stopped and halted all big production on Ethereum and have been heads down programming on Near every day of our life until now. So we'll be launching on testnet next week, and it's a whole new paradigm. I'm pretty excited to see what we can do with cheaper transactions.
Fantastic, and congratulations. Chloe Lewis, welcome.
Hey, thank you very much. So yeah, Chloe Lewis here, founder of the Marma J Foundation, just an altruistic foundation where I try and use NFTs and different Web3 technologies to try and raise funds, I guess, for the local population here in Antigua, in the Caribbean, but also to educate people as well. So that's pretty much what I do.
Wonderful, wonderful. Jake, welcome.
Hey, Ash. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Jake Brookman. I'm primarily the founder of CoinFund, which is a crypto fund in the space. We've been investing in the NFT space for many years now. Investors in Dapper Labs, Rarible. I'm an angel in async.art and a bunch of other stuff. I also run a digital art gallery, which is NFT focused, called First Edition.xyz. And I'm also a digital artist. I just launched kind of a generative series the other day called Space Vases A, B, C, D, and E.
Cool. I love this. So many artistic people on the panel. This is wonderful. Okay. So here's something that I like to do whenever I do a panel, because I tune in sometimes to see panels and I start watching and I have no idea what everyone is talking about. So for people who may not know, let's jump in and really start at the very beginning. What are NFTs and why are they significant in your life? Whoever would like to jump in first.
Sure, I'll go. Why not? So I guess I'll take it first from the vantage point of trying to be an educator. So as a lot of us who have been in the blockchain space for a while or have followed the financial markets in the blockchain space, in my opinion, NFTs are just everything else aside from the economic parts of the blockchain. So basically tokens that can't just be swapped back and forth for another one. It's a unique asset. And from my standpoint, why they're so important is because it's something that it's very easy for everyone to understand. You can see it. You can see what's going on in the blockchain instead of it just being math and cryptography and numbers. So that's kind of the way I kind of take like what is an NFT and why it's important to a lot of people that might not be, technologically inclined.
Great. Does anybody have anything they'd like to add to that? What are NFTs in your opinion, and how do you view them? Max.
Well, so I get the question from friends a lot all the time because they see me posting about it regularly and they're like, what is an NFT? What is crypto art? And I'm like, well, you've heard of tokens, right? Okay, so the NFT to a token is like a Pokemon card. And like, then they get it. Like it could be a deed, it could be a Pokemon card. It's just a piece of information that's not interchangeable with the rest. And then they seem to understand. And I love it because that can be anything really.
Right. And maybe somebody can jump in, but my understanding kind of an NFT is I think of when you think about Bitcoin or Ethereum, the idea is that they're fungible. Every one unit is equal to any other unit. And what makes an NFT unique is that it has a cryptographic hash on it that makes it specific and unique, so that every token is totally unique and it has unique properties of being able to effectively to tokenize things like art, one of a kind instruments or works of art, really anything that you want it to be. And I think that's a really, really fascinating idea. If we think about, for example, Bitcoin, and you think of it as $1, $1 is equal to every other dollar. This is amazing because everyone is unique. And then we have all of these really smart, interesting people on this panel who are doing creative things with them. Sparrow, why don't you jump in on as well?
Well, so yeah, I was just going to say that the thing that led me to blockchain as an artist was trying to solve the provenance problem with art and first registration and certificate of authenticity. And the token really does that for artists. So you can see all of my pieces come from my address, right? It's verified. There's no dispute. No one needs to research what my body of work is. It's all there on a public blockchain. To me, that's the power of NFTs.
Right.
Awesome. I'd love to jump in as well, Ash.
Please.
Like we published a thesis on NFTs on our blog at CoinFund, and one of the kind of the views that we put forward there is, we can think of NFTs as like liquid intellectual property, essentially property rights for art, collectibles, in-game assets. But the interesting thing about our thesis is that like a lot of people, they come into the NFT space through art. But what I think I've realized in the course of looking at the space for a number of years is that the addressable market of things that can be tokenized as NFTs is actually quite large. So we start with art, collectibles, but we can also go to movies, we could go to music, we can do fonts, 3D models, stock photography. Recently, someone tokenized the blog post. And if you really start to count up the number of digital objects that you can do this with, that list really, really grows. But I think art is a huge area in that, for sure.
Right. Matt, why don't you jump in? Tell us a little bit about Mintbase and what the protocol enables.
Sure. And just one more note on what an NFT is to me. So in our world we have today is here's an API owned by Twitter. They say what you can and can't get, what kind of information you can get, and they can take down different endpoints and increase endpoints. They control it all. NFT land is like, okay, now the API is the smart contract in the middle. And once it's deployed, we can all not touch this and anyone can interact with it. So that's the big jumping off point. It's this API that anyone can interact with, like moving a token from A to B without Mintbase's permission or the minter's permission. It's all just right there. Any app can interact with it. Mintbase is all about deploying your own contract. You own your own contract. We're kind of like a super rare factory where anyone should be able to come on, deploy their own contract, work with our backend machine, and show the NFTs and see how they work. So it's you owning your own smart contract is kind of the focus.
Yeah, it's really interesting the way you describe it as a decentralized entity that not even the minter has control over. And once it's out there, it's out there. One of the things that I think is super cool about NFTs, the reason why I wanted to host this panel is, well, look at this panel. We have artists, we have activists, we have investors, we have developers. This is pretty cool. And this is a really interesting thing that I see in this space. So I'm just curious, what are the projects using NFTs that you guys are most excited about right now?
Sure, I'd love to take that. So obviously we're excited about kind of the infrastructure of NFTs. So like what Nate is working on is, a platform for minting NFTs. There are a bunch of people working on different marketplaces from OpenSea to Rarible to Zora to Foundation. But what really super excites me is that once we convert art and other digital content into this kind of asset, it becomes a bit of a financial asset class. And that means that we can start to build financial applications for these things. We could use NFTs as collateral for loans. We can create derivatives. We can create index funds where or fractionalize ownership of works. And I think all of that is super exciting and is going to lead to kind of a new era of financialization for art and other such assets that really wasn't accessible to anyone before. It really didn't exist in the world before. And I think that's a huge technological and financial innovation.
Yeah, definitely. I would just add to that, there are a lot of interesting, I'm an investment person myself, and there are a lot of, I cover finance and investing at Real Vision. And, there are a lot of interesting technologies that are out there that people in the finance space are going to be able to make money off of, right? But what's interesting to me about this is that this is a technology that can potentially empower content creators to participate in some of that revenue stream. And I think that that's what makes this such an exciting technology, that it's not just about doing things like banking. It's about doing things like empowering creative people to do things and to get paid for it, which is a wonderful thing. It looks like we may have just lost Chloe. I think we may be having some technical problems there. Go ahead, Sparrow. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, no. So, I mean, you saying that's never been done before isn't really correct. That's what the traditional art market is all about, right?
Sure.
Buying and selling art as financial instruments or investments or whatever. And we've all seen where that leads, and what we're trying, certainly me as an artist, trying to get away from that traditional art market. And it's really sometimes alarming to see it happening here in this space.
Sparrow, what is it that you'd like to see more of?
The value that artists create being returned to them, and not being dependent upon markets, the whims of a market, to drive what it is that they create, so that everybody's free to create as and when they wish, what they wish.
We've been working really closely with Sparrow on our Rust contracts for Near, and we're trying to get royalties right. It's interesting. Developing all this stuff from the ground up. We're literally building the ERC 721 standard, and it's an interesting and also hard thing to do. So yeah, it's trying.
Definitely. It was a question that was asked of John Crane just before this about royalties and how that was going to get sorted out. And it's been years on Ethereum trying to sort out royalties for artists. And they're still not interoperable between marketplaces. All the marketplaces are siloed. So fortunately, we've got an opportunity on Near to do it so that they are interoperable from the very beginning. And that's exciting, yes.
Yeah, we're building the market right now as well. So some OpenSea-ish kind of features, and the core of the market is the split fee system. So as soon as you list, you can say this person, this person, this person, and this person all contributed to this NFT. They all get X%, and the royalty mechanism kicks in every time it sells and resells. So it's been fascinating building that and building the NFT out and seeing how the store contracts interact with the market. And trying to create a standard while we're doing all this. So it's been an interesting few months.
Yeah, Max, jump in.
Yeah,
please.
One thing that's super exciting for me about NFTs right now is just bridging between just using them for art or content delivery and also DeFi aspects. Charged Particles is launching next week. They're going to be a way to basically put Aave tokens inside your artwork, so your artwork becomes your bank account, which is super exciting. And you know, that means your NFT is growing value over time. But also NFT staking projects that are starting to spring up are super interesting. You know, I foresee a lot of community, like was being spoken in some of the previous. In some of the previous panels, community DAOs for NFT ownership. I think because there's such a huge artist community, I really see a lot of organizations coming out of that where the artists are actually staking their artworks and growing the value of their communities together. Because Layer 2 is going to thrive this year, so there's just going to be so many things happening there.
Great. Welcome back, Chloe.
Thank you. Glad to make it back in.
Will you jump in just 1 second? I wanted to ask Jake a question to pick up on two of the points that Max and Nat made. Two of the things that leapt out at me that I found interesting. First were the capacity to divide revenue streams between collaborators. And the second thing, the word that Nat said that I thought, for me, is one of the keys of what NFTs allow us to do. He said sell and resell. This is something that's a fascinating concept. Now, typically, if an artist were to sell a painting or a sculpture 100 years ago, once that painting was gone, they weren't able to collect royalties on it. The idea that people can now continue to generate revenue as something continues to circulate, I think, is a fascinating one. What's your view on that from the investor perspective?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely revolutionary from the artist's perspective, but also from the perspective of creating a market. Right. That people are willing to buy these assets because they know that they are, as a matter of fact, fundamentally valued, right? So we always think of art as being kind of like subjectively valued, different people valuing it at different prices. But there's also a case to say, like with certain NFT assets, like music or writing, right, that can be monetized and have a royalty stream, the tokens that represent those assets can have a fundamental value using a traditional model. But I'll give you an example in the art world, right? So a good friend of mine, Dmitry Cherniak, is a generative artist who recently did a drop. I actually, 2 years ago, I was the guy who pushed him to create his first NFT. And then this past Sunday, he did a drop. He made a nice return on that drop. He minted about 1,000 pieces from an algorithm that he was working on for like 2 years. It's a really beautiful algorithm called Ringers, which wraps a piece of string around some pegs. But the really interesting thing is 2 days later, the secondary market volume of his drop exceeded the original volume of the initial sale, and he got royalties on that. And so the fact that an artist can create a body of work, like 1,000 pieces, and then just have that live on Ethereum, like on the blockchain, and continuously receive royalties from secondary sales is absolutely revolutionary, I think. And it has created a lot of value for him as the originator of the work, and it's also creating a lot of value for the collectors of the items as well.
Excellent. Chloe, why don't you jump in? Tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Okay, so I guess I've been in the crypto space for quite a while, and I first started to get into the NFT space when I started realizing that I could just kind of have my own smart contract and use that to kind of educate other people about getting into the space. So for me, with NFTs, I know that a lot of people first come in the art space, you know, taking what they've been doing maybe traditionally in digital art, and then realizing that they can remove the middlemen, they can go straight to their customers and start selling their artwork. Where I think a lot of the value, and I think, you know, what Jake was talking about creating that, having intrinsic value to these NFTs, I think a lot of that comes from, you know, having the blockchain where these assets can have multiple use cases. And so you start having intrinsic value because, for example, I know in the previous panels, we're talking about like Axie and having, you know, game items on the blockchain where you can start having, yes, the visual representation of an art piece or a token, but also you can have underlying value of, you know, using that token to play a game and have a speed boost, or, you know, in crypto voxels, you're able to have a token where it can be a piece of land and you can start renting it out. And so I think what I try and work on personally is bringing artists on board through, you know, what you see visually. Okay, yes, you could take art and put it on chain, but also trying to help people realize that it's more than just creating value because something looks beautiful, but also creating value because you can actually use it for something which is now secured by the blockchain, which is secured by, you know, all these things that we know and love about the blockchain, your cryptographic assets. Sparrow was talking about, you can know who created it, and you could actually have that IP visual, and everyone can see Sparrow's full body of work. So now if Sparrow creates some game items, people can go, oh, cool, this game item was created by this person who did all of this other work. And so I think NFTs are a great way to to showcase what else can you do as a creative that can go beyond just, you know, creating art or having value that it might be used to in the Web 2 space.
Yeah, Chloe's a superhuman power. She's always doing, like, she reminds me a lot of DeFi Dad. Like, his way he does stuff is he just goes and just, I don't know how that works. I'm just going to see how it works. And then, no, that's not good. Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to go with that. Chloe's
got
like,
to experiment with it all, you know?
Touch the ball, move around, see what happens, blow things up.
You know, to pick up on Chloe's point, and I think she made a good one there, which is all the new things that can be done. What have we not talked about so far that you guys see as a potential use case for NFTs?
Oh, we're just getting started on use cases.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously?
I think,
So many.
yeah.
I mean, Nate did the ticketing, for Berlin, was it?
Yeah.
And a couple big conferences. So, I mean, ticketing is something that I think is just starting to get off the ground.
Yeah.
Other kinds of, you know, utility NFTs that will let you enter parcels for like a party or something like that. I mean, hasn't been done yet, but it will be. There's lots of different ways that having a particular NFT can open up experiences for you. And I think it's in the experience realm that we're going to see a lot of innovation.
Yeah.
Well, I love that view. Sorry to interrupt you, Nate. I love that view, but I was someone framed it to me very interestingly the other day. Said, you know how when you go to websites with your browser, you get cookies? In the same way, NFTs could be cookies for the physical world. Like if you attend a concert or an event, like you're saying, you get kind of a proof of attendance.
And
in fact, we have a proof of attendance protocol in blockchain today. Like if you attend, back when we used to go to physical conferences, you get an NFT to mark your attendance. And you can imagine that in the future, maybe advertisers could use that information to, you know, kind of as channels for products or something like that.
Yeah, I very much like the way that Sparrow put it, open up experiences.
Yeah, we were getting to this kind of golden era of getting past the collectability. I think this time last year, it was technologies were coming out like the Graph protocol where developers could build stuff that actually is usable. Wallets were okay enough. Argent was getting usable. Trust Wallet with these integrations. Like really, this time last year was like, oh my God, this is gonna work. And then probably, I don't know, April is when the gas fees just went straight up. And so I think now we're in this weird phase where like all the dApps are kind of sprawling. Like, do we go to Matic? Do we go to XDAI? And we're all kind of all over the place. I think the next purposeful NFT phase is going to start shaping its head probably in another 5 months. That's my gut. Because right now on Ethereum layer 1, there's state bloat is still a massive issue. Where are all these NFTs going to go when nodes can't sync anymore? There's a lot of stuff happening. So
yeah, and on that point, I think that's where interoperability is going to be a really big point for all these NFTs. Like, in my opinion, if you're going to a concert and you're getting a ticket, I think of an idea of like the whole Lindsay Lohan drop that she did today to raise money for charity. But, imagine you're going to a concert, you have your NFT, maybe the artist can sign that NFT and it gets upgraded live right there into a VIP badge, where maybe before it was on a different network that had zero transaction fees or a low security blockchain, where maybe now that it was signed by this artist, it might be worth a lot more, or maybe you want to move it to a different blockchain where it might be worth spending the $50 to move across the bridge, and you want to pay $100 to list it. Well, if it was signed by a super big artist and it got upgraded to a VIP badge, well, then maybe you're willing to move that across to a different blockchain. Whereas the other 10,000 people that are at the concert, they don't want to be spending anything for their ticket. They want to spend, or a penny or whatever. So I think that like over the next few months, or hopefully, very soon, the interoperability between these chains will be seamless for people that don't really want to have to worry about the technology behind what's going on.
Yeah, I'll add 2 more points on ticketing that I find absolutely fascinating. The first is the resale problem. When tickets get resold, the artist won't get compensated for it. And the second is anyone who's ever bought tickets for a concert or a sporting event knows that fear of going, oh crap, I just handed a complete stranger $200 and I have no idea of whether I bought something that's real or fake. The ability to solve that in a decentralized way, really, really exciting. Oh my God.
There's also a third point to that. Not only are those verified in need, but also developers can create voting apps from that ticket. Are you the owner of the ticket? Yes. Then you can vote on X, Y, and Z. So it's deep.
Yeah. Lots of
aside content aside, access and like membership features are probably what I'm most excited about NFTs. I'm hoping to take my lens artwork, which are these mandala 3D artworks, and make a website where if you have the NFT and it's got the right data in it, you see some generative content nobody else gets to see, stuff like that, because it's just a playground right now.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I can't believe that we just got that just a minute left. That flew by. I thought we were like halfway through. It was like we blinked and we're done. Can
I say one more thing?
Please.
The most exciting thing, not $1 million sales. It's the community. The crypto art community is on fire. These people have like not even a lot of money, but they're spending it to share their art every day and networking, and like
I love it.
There's so much potential. It's huge. Art gallery auction house. If you're not there on Twitter, on Telegram, you got to be.
I'm afraid we may be about to get cut off, but I can't think of a better sentiment to end on.
I had to get that in there.
No, thank you for that. That's actually the first auction house I went to buy my first like Ethereum NFT was at that Telegram group. So
Awesome.
Everyone should definitely find their way in.
Yeah, go spend money you can't afford to spend there. It's wonderful.
Always.
Well, it looks like we haven't gotten kicked off the stage yet. So, Sparrow.
There it is.
There it is. There it
You
is.
called them out. You called them.
What's up, y'all?
Thank you so much for moderating, Ash, as well.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us.
Yeah, so I'm just
Thank you, guys.
I'm gonna plug async just before we go, right? Because if you want to talk about the ability for tokens to make a difference in art, async is exactly that, right? It has created an art form because of tokenization that allows art to change over time and be living art, not just something static on your wall. Async art all the way.
Love it.
You also give power to the collectors to interfere with the art, which is something very special.
Yes, making those connections, Jessica. Yeah, it's really builds up that relationship when the token owners can actually do something and interact with an art piece.
Well, excellent. Thank you so much, everybody, for such great knowledge that you shared. Rare, do you want to, Skrilla, do you want to share any thoughts on what just happened?
No, I agree. I like Sparrow's takes on that last part about the async art as well. Stuff like that, programmable art is a big reason for NFTs. And we'll see a lot of that going forward, especially once everything starts getting more watered down. There's too many people releasing NFTs. The cream's going to have to rise to the top on a lot of this stuff, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and something that we were talking about in another panel earlier is that when all these forms of NFTs gather together in this sort of holistic experience, then the NFT becomes, the community of functionalities of the NFTs are going to solidify into a one experience. And that's going to be an interesting thing to see in the future. Well, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
We have here, we have a now.
Yeah, thank you.
Good week.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, y'all.